How can newbie copywriters get clients? For the newbies that get clients, what is it that they're doing differently from all the people struggling? What can a new copywriter do to get clients if they're a non-native English speaker? These are questions I see folks asking all of the time. So I set out to make a video where I asked a true copywriting newbie to share his secrets for successfully getting clients. So while preparing for this video, I studied two popular copywriting channels and was shocked to discover something about the interviews that they did with their newbies. What these gurus were doing was interviewing customers, friends, even employees they were sliding work to. And the problem with that is that these folks quite clearly did not have to go through what you're going through. So I didn't want to feature someone I knew because I didn't want the conflict of interest. That's why I asked Miha to share his experience with you today. I do not personally know Miha. I didn't kick him any work. I never hired him, and he has never actually paid for one of CopyThat's courses. He's only been learning from our free content and communicating with members of the Copy That Discord community, which, if you've been watching us for a while, is what we want you to do until you are ready to take your career to the next level. So in this interview, we mostly chatted about the different ways he's acquired clients as a beginner, what he's done to get better at copywriting in the 3 months that he's been doing it, and we even took a look at some of the work he did for one of his clients to actually show you the kinds of things that you can do just getting started out and the kinds of projects that you can work on. So if nothing else, I hope you will find his insights and experiences motivational and inspiring.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. A bit busy with the work and everything, but it's fine.
I hear from our Discord conversations that you have been absolutely crushing it when it comes to acquiring clients, getting gigs, getting jobs, and generally scaling your copywriting business. And you're actually relatively new to the game, so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
So I started all of this about 3 months ago. So I haven't really gathered much of the experience since I've actually started getting clients. The first clients I've gotten, it's been in the first 3 weeks of me knowing what copywriting is. So I'll try to teach you and to show what I've actually done to get her that client and all of the other ones I've got over the 3 months period.
I was wondering if you just tell folks about yourself. Like, honestly, like, you seem like it came up from nowhere.
Yes, that's kind of true. So one day I was literally just wondering what the word copywriting actually means, because I've heard it everywhere and I just got sick of hearing it without knowing what it actually is. So I searched it up on YouTube, and the first or second thing that actually came up was your and Alex's 5-hour copywriting course, and I've just started watching it and just went through the whole thing. And afterwards I've had some knowledge and I had like an image in my head what copywriting actually looks like, but I was still unsure. And I had to ask some people because I haven't known anybody that does it, especially over here in Serbia. So what I've seen in the video is that you guys actually have a Discord server. Basically, I had to ask so many questions that I've had. They had to be answered in my head because I was so worried. I'm the type of person that immediately needs everything answered when I'm getting into something. So I went on there and started asking and DMing people, one of them being Sean. And I was shocked that he was so patient with me. I asked some. Now that I look at them, I've been looking at them for the past 30 minutes. They've been such a stupid questions. I don't even know what I've asked there. I couldn't actually know what I asked myself, let alone Sean, who actually knew how to answer them. I don't know how. But I've got my answers, and from day to day, it's been like I'm actually networking with people that are in the similar situation as me, and just like getting to know many people that in real life I couldn't meet, especially like copywriters. We don't even have a word copywriting. It's not translated into Serbian. So I had to find some people somewhere that were going to help me with this, and that's been their Discord server so far. So that's where I came from actually, and that's where I met Sean.
No matter how stupid your questions were, it was a pleasure to answer them, and it's been a pleasure to see you on the come up. But I do have to ask, you got into this copywriting thing, but what were you doing beforehand? What was your life before you discovered what this was all about?
So when it comes to making money purely, I haven't actually been hired for once. Everything I've been doing before this was on myself, and I've actually been doing quite of reselling and sales in general. So it kind of gave me like that already having experience of selling people something. What I've actually been reselling and doing beforehand was reselling and flipping phones. I've just been finding some cheap phones that were underpriced on a website that would be closest to Amazon that you guys got in America. I was just finding underpriced phones and reselling them to people, or even some stores that were willing to buy them for the price I've asked for. So pretty much that's been all of my financial history and history of having jobs.
I want to stick on that for a second because I think that engaging in trade and leveraging arbitrage and leveraging your skills for sales is a really great way for people to get an introduction into what you need to do for copywriting, right? Have you found that those sales instincts have benefited you as you've grown?
Yes, because there's two things that it has helped me with a ton. So one being the outreach part that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and that's me being like able to just come up to a person and talk about anything. I've talked to people that have been doing sales for 10 years and I've said I've been talking to them like we've known each other for 5 years. So that's definitely something that's helped me with when it comes to outreaching to people in real life. And it's that extrovert part that's actually played a huge role in me getting clients in general. So that's been one thing. And the other thing is copy that I write is to sell. I'm a sales copywriter kind of, right? And all of what I've spoken about to people that I'm selling and reselling stuff to, I just had to write it down and kind of, I already had like how it should look like in my head, especially after watching that course that you guys made. It made a lot clearer image to how everything should look like on paper. And I just started practicing.
That's amazing. And so tell me a little bit about that trajectory. So you discovered copywriting about 3 months ago before the recording of this video. What has your trajectory been like? Did you have like different phases where you primarily studied and practiced and then you started doing outreach, or how did you do it?
So first things first, I always liked writing. I've been a guy that's always loved essays and writing stuff, especially in English, even though it's not my first language. So I always liked writing. And what I wanted to do at the beginning is to immediately niche down and try to get hired as an email copywriter, right? So I always wanted to just write emails that are newsletter, that are just fun to read, not much of a sales going on, because that's what I've been doing before even starting all of these reselling thing, just writing essays. And later on, I've heard from you guys on another video that niching down at the pure beginning is complete nonsense, which actually does make sense when you think about it later on. You're just giving yourself so much little work that you can actually find. You cannot get hired as, for example, Google Ads copywriter because you've only been writing emails and you don't have a general sales knowledge of other things that you can be writing about. So I just decided to write everything, just make a ton of spec pieces on everything. Facebook ads, Google ads, SaaS emails, e-com emails, landing pages, sales pages in general, e-com, SaaS, everything. And to just see later on what I'm good at and what I actually enjoy doing. So for now, I haven't really found what's going to be the number one thing that I'm going to be doing forever. But I do, since the beginning, like the newsletter idea and just writing daily emails. That's what I would enjoy doing. But so far, everything. And that's the clients as well. They've been from everywhere, for every niche. And that's how I got so much work as well.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's a testament to the fact that what we've been saying actually holds some water. But let's back it up a little bit and let me ask you, you've been doing this for 3 months. How have you been getting clients? What has been your main way of approaching businesses and people to secure them as prospects and as business?
So I have kind of a unique way of outreaching, although I have not came up with it. It's nothing I've discovered. It's just an idea that I've had. So I always went by saying, go the same path, but different direction. If you go the same path, right, I haven't discovered copywriting, but I'm going to go the different direction to getting clients than 99% of other people do, which is just sending emails. Nothing wrong with that. It's great. That's how you get clients as well. But it just hasn't been my thing from the beginning. And what I've decided to do is just find a local business, a local store, bar, restaurant, gym, anything that I just see on the street, and just come up to them and see what do they need help with. And it's simply how I've gotten clients. It's talking to them like a friend-to-friend conversation beforehand, before starting with everything. Because people can really sense when somebody is trying to pitch them immediately and when you're trying to sell them something immediately. So that's one thing that I've discovered has definitely helped with just coming there and just talking like a regular person, like a gym bro to a gym owner that's just training there like you are. So just coming up to him, talking a little bit and seeing what's been the pain point within his business. So if you want to hear something that I've actually done with that gym owner, that's going to be a great example to how people should talk to the other owners. So what I've done is actually I've just heard that so many gyms have been opening around the gym that I go to. And I decided to go to one that's next to mine, but it's been open for quite some time now. It's smaller than mine. Mine is massive. So I came up to that smaller one, which is still pretty big, and just asked a staff member, a girl, who is actually the owner of this gym. And he's happened to be there. He's happened to be training right now as I've came to the gym. I actually dressed like I'm going to train at that gym. I haven't just came up like this and, hey, you want to have a new landing page? I came up to him and just started talking to a guy, like the regular conversation starter. Hey, how many sets do you have on this exercise? And we started talking a little bit and found out he has quite of a good sales knowledge actually. So there's been something that I had to be careful about when it came to pitching him. After that friend-to-friend conversation has kind of ended, I asked him what does he think about so many gyms opening around his gym. He said that so many people have actually started going different gyms and different directions when it comes to training, and that he's lost quite some memberships. And so what I've been asking him is, how is his marketing doing? What does he do for those people to, just to see him, to see his gym? What's been something they've been doing actively? And he said that they actually need somebody to write their posts or come up with the ideas on Instagram. And I actually started like, I maybe have a solution for you right here. And then I started pitching him softly, like not going into hardcore sales conversation, rather than just telling him what are the things that I actually do and how I can actually help him and what would be the benefits of him having me next to him. So I had a conversation with him and it ended up really well. We ended up meeting again after that to actually talk about what I'm going to do. And we talked about everything. We stayed at that cafe for like 2.5 hours. What he's liked about is my vision, the things that I've came up that he couldn't think of. Right? When you're a business owner for such a long period of time, you actually spit out most of your ideas already. He's been owning that gym for 8 years, and he's been owning it for such a long period of time that he's already shot all of his greatest ideas, right? So he wanted something new, not better, but different. And what I actually showed him is some great ideas of how he can just gather more eyes onto his gym on social media. And he liked it. He liked all of the ideas I represented to him, all of the ideas, everything I wanted to do for him. So yeah, that would be how I actually pitched my first gym owner client.
I want to stop you right there for a second and just sort of like unpack a little bit of what you said, because there's a lot of things that you did that are really right and that Copy that has been harping on for a very long time. One, approaching local businesses is just such a great way to get your foot in the door, because there are so many local businesses that don't spend a lot of time online. They're focused on their business. They need help. And so it's a great way for people starting out to actually really get their foot in the door, to really get experience. And so what you did was actually, I think, very intelligent. But even more intelligent than that is you recognized a specific thing that was happening, not just in an industry, but in a person's local area. Like it was something that they could observe and see. You noticed all the other gyms popping up in an area, and then that would present a problem for this particular gym's owner. And then the way you initiated that conversation, not by like hard pitching and being like, hey, several gyms are opening up in the area, like what is your strategy? Like I'm going to help you outcompete, et cetera, et cetera. No, you went into it subtly and I would say humanistically. Like you recognized that you were speaking to a person, and by doing it that way, you were able to get the person to recognize the value that you could bring without you having to articulate it immediately. And that, I think, it was a very elegant and very intelligent way of going about it. But I gotta ask, how many clients have you had in these 3 months since you started?
So that's kind of a complicated question, because what I count as a client is kind of an owner or something, or a person that already has something running for them. I'm not going to be counting essays that I've written for money, because I've done that and I had quite a lot of them actually in the past few months. So it would mean that I've had 7 clients actually. They're completely different. Some of them are just networking. Some are people that I've known for a long time and people that I actually see on the daily basis. The thing that I would say that also makes me a little bit different when it comes to all of this is that I can see opportunities everywhere. People miss opportunities so much that everybody's asking like, hey, I don't have money, because you kind of don't see it. All of the friends, all of the people I've known in my MMA gym or in my gym regularly, just people that are, friends of my friends as well. I've started talking to some that I knew they had something running in the background, some little business, not like Coca-Cola or something, but they had like a little business in the background. So I offered softly, again, talking normally like a person to person, not just going up and offering everything that I can do. They'll be like, yeah, we'll talk later. It's not gonna work. So I had quite different ones. So first one that I would mention is, at the same time, the one that got me paid the most, is one person that's just been training in my gym. We've had some little talks, like small talk, every single day, literally. We had no clue what we do. We just ended up finishing our session at the same time, and we went to the locker rooms, and I started talking to him for a little bit just to see what is going on. And he told me his name, I told him mine, and I actually asked him, what does he do, what's his profession? And he said that he's selling furniture. He has a warehouse of a bunch of furniture, and I asked him, where does he actually sell it? Because I don't think he's selling it there, because we actually buy a lot of furniture, so my mom would know the place, but she didn't. And I asked him, where does he sell it? And that's where we're going back to that website I mentioned at the start of the video. That's a like of American Amazon. He's selling it there. And I told him I would like to look at his posts and just see what he's been writing about those products that he's been selling. And we went on talking for quite some time then, and he later on messaged me and sent me everything. I took a look, and I just knew he had no clue what he's been writing in those descriptions. It's just been a lot of specifications. This furniture is this long, it's this wide. And I know it is, but it's important. Of course it's important. It's a specification of it. But you're not only going to be selling by telling me how long that couch is, right? I needed some more information about it, and there's just been none. It's been showing up 20 pictures of one couch, and I just looked at the couch and just looked at the specification, and what is it? It's just a big couch, right? So I asked him to paint some pictures for him in that description, actually, and just to write more stuff about that couch in general. Paint more pictures in people's head that's gonna make them buy something that's gonna make that couch unique than just, hey, brown couch, 2 meters, buy it. So what I've been doing for him is, after that conversation we had on Instagram, I told him to send me everything, all of the couches, all of the sofas that he wants to sell, everything, and I would write some ads for it, just for that website. And I actually ended up writing like 4, I would say, the advertisements that he's gonna put on that website, and he's put them out there, and it actually performed better than it used to perform. It hasn't been some magic. I'm not the best copywriter on the planet. I just knew some elementaries, some basics.
I mean, what you've intuited very early on in your copywriting career, and some people take years to learn this, is that when somebody goes looking for a couch, they aren't looking for something that's 37.5 inches long. They're looking for something that's comfortable to sit on.
Exactly. So I've seen everything he's been writing there, and I'm not gonna insult you, but this needs to be done better. So he actually understood it, and he didn't take it as an insult, of course, and we've just decided to work together a little bit. Now he's actually hired a far better copywriter than me, because his business and what he's been doing, he actually noticed that there is actually marketing to it. There is a marketing to everything, and I kind of opened his eyes when it comes to that. So just by showing him, hey, you can actually sell more furniture if we do some copy for it. And he actually realized that. He realized that his phone has been ringing for a longer time and more calls during the day than before. And that's been it. That's how I gotten him. He's paid me nicely per one advertisement. So it's been good.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you've written for gym owners, you got a furniture client, you've written homepage copy, landing page copy, you've written ad copy, you've written product descriptions. What else have you done?
Okay, so this is something I'm really thankful for you, because yesterday I came up with that one great idea that I'll be discussing about in this video. I've actually signed the NDA contract with e-commerce owner. He owns 2 massive businesses that are making 7 figures a month. And he sent me the NDA contract and he sent me some tasks. And those tasks actually happen to be the best copy and the best pieces I've ever written. And I've been writing them today. So that's one thing as well. What I will be doing for him is social media copy. Just in general, what I'll be focusing this time is more of a marketing, not just writing copy. There'll be more things behind, which is fine by me, but I still want to stick to copywriting. I don't want to be a marketer, I want to be a copywriter. What I'll be doing for him is writing copy again for social media, but this time, it'll not be just Instagram. It'll be Facebook ads, TikTok videos, Meta ads in general. A lot of the things, and what he wants to use me for, most likely after seeing those, are going to be ideas, because he will see in those pieces that I have not only written copy there. It's been a lot of ideas, a lot of explanation, psychology behind the copy that I've written, and everything in general will just be like a way wider picture, not just some, hey, write me this short form video. So it will be quite some things. Besides him, I've had like 4 more clients. Everything is different. We can discuss that for hours.
So what seems to be the sort of common through line here is it really just comes down to finding people, recognizing that they're in their business, there is a need, and then approaching them either via your network or in person, or in one case on Instagram DMs, and effectively just speaking to them, and this is going to be a shocker, almost as though they were a person, right? And not just somebody to sell to.
Exactly. People neglect that a lot. So I often see when people want to pitch someone that isn't just an email, right? Everybody gets emails, if you're sending personal email, you cannot really have that friend-to-friend conversation on an email when you're trying to pitch them. You're not going to be emailing each other for 20 days, right? So in real life, what I've noticed definitely is that just going to the person that you can benefit from and talking to them as a human. And it's something that definitely has worked. So yeah, I've also actually, my most recent project that I've been working on since the Sunday, since I've actually messaged Sean, I have a great idea that's gonna be revolutionary for copywriting. I've been a little bit hyped, of course, but it's something that I've definitely haven't seen people doing. Imagine this, you're a copywriter, you're introverted, right? But you see those emails aren't getting you anywhere. You've written thousands and thousands and nobody has replied. But on the other hand, since you're an extrovert, going up to businesses and talking to people seems like a little bit too much, right? Something that's been too much out of your comfort zone. So I kind of thought for a bit, there has to be something in between, something that you will be outreaching to businesses with that's not going to be sitting in an email inbox for 20 days, but you're also not going to be talking person to person to that business owner. It's going to be relief, but also more answers. So the thing that I came up with is something that I haven't actually came up with. That's something that's been used ages before, but nobody has been doing it anymore. It's making and writing visit/info cards and delivering them to people's doors. We've actually made one for a personal trainer in my gym, and I decided to just have him be a test. Like, let's just do this. I will write you a visit card on both sides, some great copy in it. I'll hire a designer and we'll make it look good. We'll just make the whole thing look really neat and nice, and we'll just print it out and send it. What do you have to do with that? You just have to go to people's doors. It will have a little hook on the visit card and just hook them to the doorknobs. And so far, we've printed about 6,000 of them. How much we spread around? It's been 1,200. And the person, my friend actually, I've known him, he's actually started getting so many calls and actually closed 6 clients today. Everybody has time. Me and you have time. I cannot go and pitch 20 businesses a day, right? In real life. If I do that with emails, chances that my email is actually going to be opened by 20 are very low. So I had to find a way that I'm gonna actually be saving me time by just delivering something, and it will get delivered to thousands of people. It doesn't take that much, especially when you're doing it with your friends. But how you can do it is just print them out and write some decent copy on it. Actually do some copywriting on it, not just write, hey, this is my phone number and this is my name. Writing some more info about what you're actually providing, how you're actually gonna be helping, and some benefits. Of course, some pain points on the back of it, so the people actually feel targeted by it, and actually just giving a reason why you should call him. So that's something that we've been doing for the past 2 days and been delivering it after I wrote it. It took me about 2 hours to write it, and my friend about an hour to design it. And we've gotten going, and I will like to share it with you today. There is one note with it. It's in my language. I live in Serbia, so we've written it in Serbian and started spreading around the country. Not the country, but the city. So I will show it, but I'll try also to translate everything.
Hold on 1 second. I think I'm fluent in Serbian. If you scroll to the top, that means personal trainer, right?
Yes, sir, that does mean that. And this is his name, the name of my trainer. This visit/info card, I'm not sure how to actually name it. On the first side of it, the front side, actually what it says there is his profession. The first thing that he's actually offering is his service. That's the most important thing that people are gonna know him for, right? If we've written the name on the top and just said his name, who is right? So the most important thing, obviously, to me at least, is what he's actually doing. Right now, of course, here is his picture, and these kind of bullets are the most important things that people actually search for. So Gubita kilogramma means weight loss. It's something that people have been struggling for since forever. Well, now after that, how do you actually solve weight loss? How does that happen? So it's plan, like diet plan. You have online training, adding muscle, and making programs specifically for the client's needs. And one of the bigger eye catchers here actually is this text right here. What does it say? Well, it says guaranteed results in the first month. Is that true? Is that actually going to happen? Is it something that everybody's going to notice? Well, we don't know that. But something that we do know is that Google also says and agrees on is that you can see the results in the first month if you're doing everything correctly. So we actually decided to put this because it seems more ethical than unethical. It's something that can be a case for you if you actually put in the work and listen to everything that says on the front page. It's something that you can actually expect. And there is his phone number. We've also done a little bit of editing, like of design, some weight, some personalization. On the back page, what you can find is more copy. It's more of something that if you're intrigued by the first page, if you actually want something out of him, if the first page seems interesting and intriguing, you flip up the page and you see what's on the back. So what's on the back? It's actually some pain points and something that's calling you out a little bit. The meaning of the first sentence is, have you actually started prepping for your summer body? Your ideal form is not as far as it seems. The earlier you start, the better you'll look. Additional motivation for a faster and better beginning is waiting for you. 50% off your first training, besides somebody who's been training for more than 10 years.
You say that this is revolutionary, but this stuff has been working for decades. And what we've actually found is that now that everything is digital, stuff like this actually has started working better for like local service businesses and like individual like small businesses and service providers and things like that. And the reason why is because it's top of mind and it feels more personal than like an email or an ad or like a Google Maps sponsored link. And it's something that somebody can look at and do immediately. And it certainly gets the name out there and it certainly differentiates you. So I see why this is working because it's been working across niches too.
So something I actually haven't like worded out correctly is this is more of something that I would consider revolutionary for new people, to people who just haven't heard of outreaching methods. When you look on the YouTube and you look how to outreach as a copywriter, you'll see a bunch of gurus just talking about, hey, send emails and have a price of a senior copywriter. Write your email for $2,000. Don't go under that line. And this is just something unrealistic that I ran upon. And I've just been thinking of other ways that people can actually, start outreaching and just getting more of the yes and more of the views. With this, you're kind of guaranteed that the person is going to see it if you're literally hanging it on their doorknob. So it's something that's gonna catch eyes and something that people are going to see. Now, is this something that's gonna work for a massive business? Is this something you wanna do, for example, to Mercedes brand? You're gonna write some info cards and just, hey, buy a Mercedes car, buy an S-Class? No, for sure not. But this is something how you can actually promote somebody's service, especially if they're just starting out. And it's something that's gonna get calls and it's something that's gonna close clients to other clients, to your clients. So it's something that's just been working and it's not something too revolutionary, but it's definitely another way of outreaching that people have definitely not heard for, especially if they're just starting out. By thinking like this, you're guaranteed some results.
Yeah, I can see why. And you say before that, you don't really want to be a marketer, you want to be a copywriter, but what you're doing here, thinking outside of the box, getting eyeballs in a different way, moving around competition, getting outside of where things are saturated, that's all marketing. So what you're doing is really just engaging in marketing strategy in a very, I think, intelligent and clever way that not only is working for this personal trainer, but I imagine will work for you as well.
Definitely. I think this is something that can work quite well if you actually target the right service. If you target something and you paint the picture, you actually explain why people need you, and you give some benefits of your service, as long as you keep it like nice, simple, eye-catching, and simply something that people would actually need, this has no reason not to work. Whatever the service is, if you're a copywriter, a designer, a web developer, if you hang it to the door of the neighbor next to mine, he may actually need a web designer. So you never know whose door you're going to hanging this at. It's a nice idea that I'm pretty proud of. I haven't actually made it, but I came up with it, so we're doing it. I haven't heard of anybody else doing it.
Well, listen, once you see some results, drop them in the Discord, link in the description below, and we'll pin it if we see some positive results, all right?
Yeah, I will keep you guys updated on that as well on Discord server.
Amazing. So we've talked a little bit about the kind of copyright, what's been working for you. We've talked about a couple of different ways that you've gotten clients, but I really want to drill down into some specific tactical things that people can do, some general knowledge and advice that you would give to people who now want to go start trying to do outreach and build their network and actually reach out to people in person the way that you've been doing it.
One key advice that I would give, I kind of learned it myself through simply outreaching to people. So what I've actually done is, first person that I wanted to pitch was a local bar that I always go at. So I know the owner. We've talked a little bit. He knows me. I'm commonly there. I sometimes bring my laptop and work from there and stuff. So we've known each other, and I just wanted to pitch him. And first things off, that pitching failed. It failed miserably. I talked to him as he's a copywriter. I talked to him as he's a marketer. While meanwhile, he has no clue what copywriting is. I even used the word copywriting in Serbia. He had no clue what I was trying to tell him. So if you're trying to pitch somebody in real life, imagine yourself from before you started copywriting. What have you known? What terms have you known for? Use their language and talk in their language, and see if you're already trying to pitch them. Talk like you're a normal person talking to a normal person. Don't use some heavy terms. They're not going to understand you. And that brings us to my second approach, to a local bar again. So the second approach also fared completely miserably. It's another reason. So this time I came already, and I've known I have to talk, like a regular person to a regular person, explaining how I can help them after that friend-to-friend conversation that I've explained already. This mistake has been really crucial, and it's been pretty hard to avoid. So the mistake is me going to talk to a manager. Why is that a mistake? If you're going to pitch a business, you need an owner. You need somebody who is at least in the head of marketing. Somebody who is really just a person doing their marketing. Why do you actually need to talk to the owner and not to the manager? Simply because owner sees you. He knows how you approach him, and he knows the way that you talk. If you talk to a manager, you have a person between you and the owner. Owner who you're trying to pitch and here's you. Person in between is going to tell the business owner what you said his way. And that's not going to be how you actually talk for sure. I talked to that manager and I've told him all of the great ideas, not talking as a copywriter or marketer. I just talked like a normal person and everything sounded great. He was really satisfied with my ideas and he was happy with my vision. But the mistake is that I actually talked to him. I asked for owner and he said, hey, I'm the manager. And I was like, all right, in my head, hey, is somebody there? So I should talk to him, right? No. He just ended up saying completely what he made up in his head to the owner. I asked him later on when I came up to see what's been going on with that business. Business owner again wasn't there. There was that manager. And I asked him, what's up with the offer I told you about 2 days ago? And he actually said, oh, I like the idea, but the owner didn't. Why? What have you told him? I told him, we had some teenager come over and he told us that he can help us with the growth of our business. And have you even represented the idea of everything I've said? I said that you can make some Instagram posts and maybe write some page on website and you maybe can write something like that. I realized immediately, if you want to pitch a business, you need somebody who is just in the lead, who is leading that. Now, of course, that's going to be a problem if you're trying to pitch a massive business, right? It's if I wanted to go to pitch Audi and I asked for owner, they would tell me to get out and they would probably kick me out. That depends on the size of the business. And actually just getting to talk to the owner, it's something that's been really important. They need to hear you. They need to see what you're doing. They need to hear your ideas themselves. So that's something you definitely should keep in mind as well when pitching in real real life.
What other advice would you give to people when it comes to networking? So we've established, like, make sure you go for the true decision makers, not those middle managers, but the true decision makers of a business, because they're going to be the ones who actually understand the value propositions that you're bringing, and they're not going to filter your language to the true decision maker. But what other advice have you found works especially well for landing clients the way that you've been landing them?
Something that really does matter a lot when it comes to this is about your surroundings. If you're generally somebody who knows a lot of entrepreneurs or people that run businesses, it's gonna be far easier to just come up and talk to them. Why? You already kind of went through that ice at the beginning of just coming up and talking to them. So any business that you can think of, once you exit your house or a building and you see it, you know the owner, go and talk to him. Go and try. Don't try immediately to pitch him. Have that friend-to-friend conversation, and later on try to do that soft sell. Try to show him how you can help and what you can do for him. If he's the actual owner, if he is in the head of marketing as well, if he knows you and you two have built some trust between each other with that conversation you had previously, there is no reason for him not to hire you. Unless he already has a copywriter doing what you should be doing, or just that he doesn't need something like that his marketing is doing great. So something that's really important there is how much people you know that actually run businesses like this. And what you can do about it is just go and talk to them. Go and order your coffee and just ask somebody that's working there, does he know who is in the head here? If it's a small local bar, chances are massive that the owner is actually even working there, because he wouldn't have finances to just hire 20 people. You can literally just build a conversation based on a coffee that you've ordered. He's going to remember you, and he's going to build trust within time. So it's something you can do just by going to the cafe with your girlfriend or your friend, just having a little conversation with the owner that's going to be here, just building those relations in between that are standing between you and having an actual client.
I cannot stress enough how valuable that is. Almost all of the highest paying work that I've ever received was through either friends or friends of friends or people that I've met as colleagues in the world that I operate in. I haven't had to do any real outreach in nearly 5 or 6 years. It really comes down to just, I focused on building up a network of people who understand and see the value that I can bring to their businesses. And that has basically made it so that I've never had to actually do any outreach whatsoever.
So by the time you're actually progressing in this business, you're going to meet more people, and those people are going to be copywriters, designers, people that you're in general just going to work with. People that hire you do actually have more of the people working for them. Those are going to be designers for the landing pages you're going to write, web developers, and people as such. So when a web developer gets hired by a business, guess what? Copy has to be written there. So by just talking to that web developer, you've made a good connection. Out of him, you can really just meet a lot of other people that are doing the same thing as you maybe.
That's amazing advice, and it's absolutely true. So I have to ask you, if you could go back in time and give advice to yourself when you were first starting, what advice would you give to yourself when you first started copywriting?
So it's something that I have already mentioned, but it's really a phrase that can get you far. Go the same path as others, but in a little bit different way. Go different ways in different directions, because not everything is shown on YouTube and not everything is on Google. Yes, there's so much information, there's so many things you can learn from, but by thinking this way, you can actually sit down in your room and actually just think of the ways that you can find clients and the way that you can do some other things that aren't shown everywhere. So thinking yourself is really smart. Also, just writing spec pieces all the time. I have started about exactly 90 days ago, and so far I have over 100 copies written. So 100 different files, probably even more. So it's just something that's, of course, isn't going to be great at the beginning. Don't expect your copy to be amazing. As Sean said, in the first 50 spec pieces, do not expect it to be good. It's just something that you need to get done. I have tried pulling my hair so many times after writing so many spec pieces that have just been bad. I've sent them over to my friends that I've met through Copy Dad's Discord server, and they're like, I do not even want to comment this. I actually sent my first ever spec piece to Adam, and he's just been looking at it. I do not even want to read this anymore. He laughed after the first sentence. Do not stress about your spec pieces and about your copy in general, especially at the beginning. It's going to be bad, and even after, you're going to have bad days when you're simply not able to write the best as you can. So it's something you shouldn't be stressing about, and it's something you should just keep on doing. You should just keep on writing every day and just trying to pitch people on the way.
Amazing. That's amazing advice. So I have two final questions for you, and then I'll let you go. And the first is, I gotta ask, man, how old are you?
I'm just about to turn 20. I'm yet a teenager. I'm turning 20 in 2 weeks, so probably by the time you're watching this, I'm 20.
Well, now that you said that, that allows me to make that clickbaity title, Teenager Learns Copywriting for 3 months and 7 clients. We're definitely going to leverage that in the clickbaity headline. And then I guess the final question that I have for you is, what is the first car that you're going to buy with your copywriting money?
Actually, my first work car isn't going to be something crazy. It's just going to be a Volkswagen Golf 7, most likely. It's a decent car that's going to be reliable for some time. But as Sean knows, my second car that I'm going to be buying after making far more money from copy is actually Aston Martin Vantage. So it's something that's going to cost more than $300,000. Listen, I'm a teenager. I like fast cars.
Listen, man, like, I'm not going to yuck your yum. That's delightful. And if it brings you a lot of fulfillment and joy, man, I'm just happy for you. And I'm happy that you found good advice online. I'm happy that you found a good community online. And I'm very happy that you were steered in a good direction that's allowed you to find good paying work that's allowing you to snowball your success into one after another. I'm just very proud to see that you were able to do this pretty much on your own, because you have not paid for any courses, correct?
Nope, not a penny spent on copy yet.
And that is something that I've been telling people for just years and years, that if you just really take the lessons that are available online and really like put on your critical thinking cap, you really can make a career out of this on your own to start. And then once you start to plateau in your skill a little bit, then it makes sense to like get some, additional help and things like that. But it pleases me to know that you were able to basically live the advice that I've been giving people.
Copywriting is a skill. To get good at a skill and to make a lot of money from a skill simply takes time. And those things I hear all the time. A copywriter made 6 figures after 2 months of writing copy. Listen, I haven't made 6 figures. I've made 4. So that's something that you should not be expecting. When you hear advice from somebody like Sean, listen to it and take it. The amount of progress you're going to make is the amount of advice that you're going to take. Those two equal one another. Just listen, take advice from somebody that you trust and for somebody that's actually know what he's talking about. Get out there, do what you've been told to do by somebody who is just ahead of you. If you want to be in their place, do what they're telling you to do. It's simple. And of course, think yourself as well. Don't just take it blindly.
Miha, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your insights, for sharing your copy, and generally just sharing what you've learned in this very brief amount of time that you've been doing this. Copywriting is a long and humbling experience, and you'll have many highs and many lows, but I am excited to learn more about your journey, and I'm looking forward to your future, man.
Thank you, Sean. I hope I can share more of my future with you. So hope to hear from you again, man. And thanks for me.
Again, if there's ever anything that I or the other folks at Copy that can do for you, just let us know, all right?
Thank you so much, man. This means a lot.